This is the Tvwan Midday News Update. Thanks for joining us. Member for Finchafan Ren Bapaita has called on the Independent Commission Against Corruption and Ombudsman Commission for an independent inquiry into the government's actions to transfer funds outside of the budgetary appropriation. He expressed concerns regarding the actions of the government taken on the business development grants meant for Gulf Province landowners. Paita's calls come following the diversion of funds meant for Gulf Province to Enga Province. Paita is concerned that the actions of Prime Minister James Marape and Treasurer Ian Lynn Stuckey amount to gross misappropriation of funds and abuse of the office. However, Prime Minister James Marape in a statement assured the people of Gulf that their business development grants are still intact and not diverted elsewhere as alleged. He clarified that there was an incorrect wording on a warrant instrument which the Treasurer acted and corrected right away. 18 Mineral Resources Authority staff were rewarded for serving the institution for 15 consecutive years and for good performance. The rewards came in the form of a fully serviced residential land allotment with dimensions ranging from 450 to 500 square meters. This is part of MRA's home ownership scheme where a total of 49 allotments were purchased in 2022. Other land allotments will be given to staff as they turn 15 with the organization or perform well. The aim is to attract and retain competent staff through this program. The state negotiating team has engaged in full discussions with Wafi-Golpu mine developers Newmont and Harmony this week, aiming to finalize the mine development contract. Prime Minister James Marape, when making the announcement, said this step is critical in preparing for the issuance of the special mining lease as soon as possible. He also addressed the status of infrastructure development grants for Wafi-Golpu, stating that these funds have not been released yet, pending the outcome of the development forum. He emphasized that the IDGs were designated for infrastructure projects and are not free money for landowners. He said negotiations are progressing well, according to a brief from the SNT. 70 health care workers in Southern Highlands Province had completed a one-week workshop on immunization in practice from the 15th to 19th of July. The training was organized by the Provincial Health Authority as is crucial for the healthcare workers who are actively involved in conducting immunization activities from 50 reporting health facilities throughout the province. The healthcare workers learned a lot about the current practices in the immunization space. Training was made possible with support from the Southern Highlands Provincial Health Authority Management Team and Santos Foundation. Authorities say they've disrupted a sex trafficking ring operating in Australia. A man has been charged with allegedly trafficking a 17-year-old from Indonesia to work in Sydney brothels.
The AFP says they've removed at least 7 potential victims from sexual exploitation following a lengthy investigation into the syndicate, which was allegedly recruiting young women in Indonesia and bringing them to Australia. A 43-year-old man from Sydney's south faced court today, charged with trafficking children, and police allege he was the Australian ringleader of the operation.
In Jakarta, our partners in the Indonesian National Police found multiple passports of individuals who police will allege had been recruited by the syndicate and were being prepared to be trafficked to Australia.
The man was granted strict conditional bail and will face court again in September. The AFP has not ruled out laying further charges in relation to this investigation.
Donald Trump has indicated he's ready to engage in a debate with Kamala Harris ahead of the presidential election as the presumptive Democratic nominee kicks off her campaign in earnest with a rally in the battleground state of Wisconsin. The vice president has secured the broad support of her party to replace President Joe Biden at the top of the ticket. In his most extensive comments since Mr. Biden dropped out of the race, Trump said he would be willing to debate Ms. Harris more than once. An inaugural speed dating event has been dubbed a success at the Catherine Show and Rodeo at the weekend. Men and women looking for love came together from across the region. Many workers from remote cattle stations made the most of the opportunity to meet potential partners face to face.
A romantic outback sunset, the perfect setting for the love muster. Organisers wrangled more than 70 singles for the speed dating event.
Well, I didn't decide to come here. I was here for the rodeo and my mates have conned me into it.
I'm just here to have a bit of fun, but not that type of fun.
And I'm not really looking for a man, I'm more so looking for a woman or a they, them.
It's bloody hard to find a date, but this event at the Catherine Show is trying to help ringers, stockies and musterers find their soulmates.
Absolutely.
People from Catherine and cattle stations in the region say living so remotely means finding love or even a date can be tricky.
It depends how hard you try, really, and how hard you work. If you get weekends off, which is pretty rare on a station, it's quite hard.
And dating apps are no help.
I got Tinder, and it's just like the 3 you work with.
Well, I mean, if you set the radius as far as you can go, you'll be lucky to find a person.
Organisers hope the in-person meetings and conversation starter cards can be helpful.
There's a lot of great single people that come to the show every year, and what better time to bring them all together than right here, right now at the rodeo.
With only 3 minutes per person, participants wasted no time trying to make an impression.
Oh, I've got URAQT.
But not everyone found their perfect match.
How successful has it been for you?
Well, how do you count success?
So will they come again next year?
Absolutely, it's so well organised. Yeah, no, it's so awesome.
It's hell fun.
A lot of love for the love muster.
The Albanese government has sought to dispel community concerns surrounding a planned radioactive waste management site at HMAS Stirling Naval Base in Western Australia, the home port of the AUKUS nuclear submarines. It comes as the chiefs of Navy of the 3 AUKUS countries, the United States, the United Kingdom and Australia, met for the first time in Australia at the base in Perth South.
Tripartite unity on display at HMAS Stirling Naval Base, where AUKUS nuclear submarines will dock and be serviced.
It's a real privilege and an honour to be here with 2 of my best friends in the international Navy community.
As you said, we stood shoulder to shoulder. I like to say in the Navies, we have been steaming in formation for well over 100 years. And AUKUS is a great opportunity for us to build on that collective capability.
The British First Sea Lord reaffirming his new government's commitment to AUKUS.
But it is going to take time, it's going to take commitment every single day, because each and every day matters if we're to hit the very demanding timescales.
Australia's Chief of Navy confident HMAS Stirling is on track to receive US and UK nuclear submarines by 2027.
But if we had to mobilise this base to support nuclear-powered submarines from Stirling tomorrow, all of the key building blocks are already in place.
The nuclear watchdog, ARPANZA, has given initial approval for a low-level radiation waste and management site at the naval base to service and repair nuclear submarines.
Think things like gloves and other things that naturally become slightly radioactive as they handle componentry.
The Albanese government says the local community will be completely safe.
This is akin to what occurs in 100 other sites around the country. Anywhere that has a hospital that deals with medical imaging that involves radioactive isotopes has exactly the same level of waste.
But one community group, the Medical Association for Prevention of War, says while hospital waste is short-lived, submarine radioactive waste needs isolation for hundreds of years. The radioactive waste will be temporarily stored here at HMAS Stirling Naval Base before it's moved to a more permanent repository. However, the Commonwealth Government hasn't yet said where that will be.
In sports, the PNG Football Association General Secretary Gordon Manub shared insights from the recent OFC Executive Program for General Secretaries Workshop. He found the topics on high performance, leadership, financial management and digital marketing particularly relevant for PNGFA. Manub emphasized the importance of self-management and recovery for leaders, organized financial planning amid limited resources, and the potential of digital marketing to grow the sport in Papua New Guinea. The insight gained will shape PNG FA's future strategies to enhance football development in the country.
Yes, Papua New Guinea, we were in the restructuring of our organization, and it was very enlightening to hear about financial management and about how we need to plan properly with the limited resources we have, and also, using cheat sheets so that we can basically forecast our planning, especially with the limited funds we have for all the programs that we need to be funding, and also for our national teams that have to travel every year to participate in the regional competitions. Papua New Guinea has a very big potential looking at our population. We have the biggest population in Oceania. We also have the biggest group of corporates that live in Papua New Guinea, and it's about finding that leverage in those partnerships that we can grow the game through making those partnerships. And this session on the digital marketing and the Matildas case study has really opened up my eyes for the potential that we have to use this to grow the game in Papua New Guinea.
And that ends the news update. Join us for more news and sports at 6 p.m. this evening.